American strikes against the Houthis, the new warfront in the Red Sea. It began quietly, like most things do. A single missile, then another. Houthi rebels in Yemen launched attacks at commercial ships crossing the Red Sea, claiming solidarity with Palestinians and targeting what they called Israeli-linked vessels. But soon their definition of targets widened. Oil tankers, cargo ships, any vessel that dared pass through what was once one of the world's most critical and busiest trade routes. What started as political symbolism became economic warfare. The world's shipping giants rerouted. Billions in global trade were delayed. The Red Sea, once a lifeline between East and West, was turning into a war zone. And in Washington, D.C., patience was wearing thin. The strike begins, then came the order. In early 2024, under the cover of night, U.S. fighter jets roared off aircraft carriers stationed in the region. Cruise missiles lit the sky. Drones buzzed low over the Yemeni coast. The targets were precise. Radar installations, missile silos, drone launch pads, weapons storage, all belonging to the Houthis. This wasn't a warning shot. It was a clear message. The Red Sea is not yours to control. American forces struck dozens of locations across Houthi-controlled territory. Explosions echoed through the Yemeni highlands. Surveillance footage showed key infrastructure decimated. The rebels' air defenses were neutralized in minutes. It was surgical, calculated, and fast. But who are the Houthis, really? They're not just a local militia. They're a battle-hardened group with deep ideological roots, born from decades of conflict and fueled by resentment toward Saudi Arabia, the U.S., and Israel. The Houthis control large portions of northern Yemen, including the capital, Sana'a. They've fought off Saudi-led coalitions, resisted years of bombardment, and remained standing when other groups collapsed. And behind them? Allegedly, Iran, the shadowy hand that trains, equips, and advises them, connecting the Houthis to a wider axis of resistance stretching from Lebanon to Iraq to Syria. So when the U.S. hit back, this wasn't just a strike on Yemen. It was a strike on Iran's proxy network. Why now? Washington had held back for months. Even as ships were struck and drones were intercepted mid-air by U.S. Navy destroyers, the American strategy was containment. Don't escalate, avoid direct confrontation. But the attacks didn't stop. They intensified. The Houthis knew what they were doing. Every missile was a provocation. Every drone was a dare. They were pushing boundaries, not just militarily, but symbolically, challenging U.S. dominance in the region, testing how far they could go before triggering a real response. And now they had their answer. What's at stake? This isn't just about Yemen. This is about control of the seas, influence over global trade, and a growing fear that the Middle East is drifting toward a broader, multi-front war. The Red Sea connects the Suez Canal to the Arabian Sea, a highway for oil, goods, and military power. If the Houthis can threaten that with cheap drones and missiles, what does it say about the balance of power? And what happens if Iran decides to respond directly? This is the dangerous new normal, asymmetric warfare where rebel groups backed by shadow states can choke global commerce, provoke superpowers, and still hide in mountains or behind civilian populations. The Houthis' response? Defiant. Their spokespersons vowed revenge. They claimed moral victory even as their launch sites burned. In their eyes, they're not terrorists. They're freedom fighters, defenders of Gaza, resistors of American imperialism. But behind the rhetoric, something had changed. The strikes showed the Houthis that U.S. tolerance had limits, that drones can be jammed, that no radar is safe when stealth fighters prowl the skies. And yet the question remains, will this stop them, or will it provoke more chaos? What comes next? The American strikes may be over, for now. But the Houthis are still armed, still determined, and still dangerous. The Red Sea is no longer just a shipping lane. It's a front line in a shadow war, where militias test missiles, nations guard oil, and great powers calculate every move with deadly care. The world watches, one more ship hit, one more airstrike, one wrong move, and what started as a regional flashpoint could ignite into something far more unpredictable. The U.S. struck hard, but the battle is far from over.